One of the joys of being a professor and a researcher at a university is the ability to find a problem and tackle it. Tom Evans. I'm a professor in the School of Geography, Development, and the Environment. But the work that most recently I've been working on is addressing the impacts of COVID on food security in the United States. That has had many different dimensions, both in terms of the economic impacts on individuals in terms of unemployment, but also disruptions to food supply chains. And so we're looking for hotspots of where food security has been particularly impacted by COVID and trying to understand what kinds of conditions have led to those kinds of outcomes. The big challenge here is to try to unpack the complexity in this interaction between food security and COVID. The food supply chain in the United States is massively complicated. And how do you distribute meat products when you have a location shutting down because of COVID outbreaks at those labor facilities? So the complexity of the food supply chain means that it's really hard to understand which places will experience these price shocks. And so the bread and butter in this research process is what's called spatial analysis using a technology called geographic information systems. And what we're planning to do with our entire data set is identify places where you have many more people that are in this low income status. Those are the people that we really worry about. Those are the people who don't have a safety net. They don't have savings they can resort to when they lose income. And when they experience this loss of income and this price shock, that's the big challenge. And only through overlaying these different spatial data sets are we able to identify what we can call these hotspots of vulnerability to the COVID impacts on food security. There's really not a good mechanism to collate all that information, summarize it, and deliver it into kind of digestible forms for policymakers unless we have this analysis of the entire country. So that's what we're planning to do is produce these policy briefs that give kind of actionable information backed up by science, backed up by the best data possible so that they can see should there be a similar kind of event in the future, whether it's COVID or some other kind of event that affects food security, how they can respond more effectively.